thing set up. Alright, here we go. Gonna wait for everybody to join before I start. About a minute early. For those of you that are watching this on replay on YouTube, this was done on Periscope. You can follow me at hail_company, and I'll be doing some more of these. So, what's up, fellas? What's up, Rob? Mr. Miller, what's happening, brother? Mikey, Taurus. I'm going to give it a few minutes for some guys to get in. You're not late, Jaime. What's up, man? Corey Pope. What's up, Ray? Mr. Bubba. There you go. Look at those hearts. Yeah, on Periscope, those hearts get you ranked higher, I guess. So the more I get, the better. If you're watching this on YouTube again, you're not going to know what that means yet. China, Illinois. Gary Hazing. What's up, Shane? Tony, my friend Frazier. Yeah, and the wallpaper is better. This is my office. It might be a little echoey in here. I'm remodeling it, so carpet's ripped out, and you might hear some kids yelling in the background. Hopefully you don't. So, all right, a couple more seconds and I'll get started. I'm going to go through some stuff, and I'll take a couple questions if you have them after each item, and then we can do some more questions and answers afterwards if you want. What's up, Dave? With Edgy Tools. Dent Dominator. All right, so tonight I am going to talk about how to maximize your company's presence in a hailstorm. Hail in your town, I'm going to do some reading here so I don't screw it up. I miss Ray too. Hail in your town is a golden opportunity to not only make a lot of money, but also expand your local presence. They're both equally important, and focusing on both of them at the same time without neglecting the other is the magic formula. What I always say is when you go to a storm, you want to secure, manage, and expand, and you should probably think about the same thing. Making sure all your accounts are secure, making sure you got the right text in there, and then expanding later on. And we'll go over that a little bit later in detail. Okay, so hail hits your hometown. I heard a lot of people put up posts before saying, hail has hit your hometown. What do you do now? Well, if you're asking that question right after a hailstorm, you're already too late. I mean, you're not too late to get work, but you're too late to maximize your potential. The single biggest thing you can do before a storm, or to be more profitable during a storm, is to be proactive before a storm. You have three choices when hail hits your area, basically. You can call someone like myself or another hail management company. There's some other good ones out there. You can do it yourself, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. Or you can say, I'm not going to mess with it. And yes, that has happened before. I've seen guys say, you know what, I don't want to neglect my route. I'm not going to mess with it. There's not enough money to make up for the headache. So he'll go in and tell his body shops and dealerships, if you need some advice, you know, questions about who's coming in there, I can help you, but I'm going to stay to my local route and just not mess with the hail, which is absolutely ridiculous. When it's your area, you should maximize income. You should benefit from that. You built your presence up doing PDR in the area, and you shouldn't stop expanding at any time, and hail is the perfect opportunity to expand it. And definitely don't give up what you have. So this video is to help you decide which answer is best for you, and if you want to do it yourself or call somebody or neglect it. But this video is what you should do if you decide to do it yourself. Not everybody feels like they want help for whatever reason. So if you decide to do it yourself, here's some things you can do. Number one, you want to have a tech base in place. You want to have techs that you can trust, and techs that you know. And you don't just want to have a list. Let's say you're a small-time account or a PDR company, In a small town, you've got 3 body shops and 1 dealership. So you say, worst case scenario, I need 2 guys at each body shop, maybe 3 or 4 at the dealership. So you got 10 techs on call. That's a horrible idea. You want to have at least 3 times the amount of techs that you're going to need on call, because not all techs are available. So if you've got your small network of friends and guys that you work with, and it's 10 guys, and boom, it hails on June 7th, and you call them, they're all working. Now what are you going to do? You don't have a plan in place, because that was the first step. So have more than just one list of guys. Have a pecking order, 1 through 20, 1 through 30. Spend some time at MTE getting to know some guys that want to network with you, like we talked about before. So don't just count on a certain amount of techs to be there. You want to have more. If you use an app for your estimating and invoices, reach out to that app developer or company, whichever it is, and ask them what you can do or what you need to do if hail hits your area. If you want to continue using that app for your storm, you're going to have to get everybody that's coming to work for you set up on the app under your name. And I'm sure each app has a different system. Some of them can sync them all together. Some of them might have to be individual. I don't know how they all work, but if you are using an app and want to continue, reach out to your app company right now and ask them, if hail hits, how do I get everybody on the same page? And even if you're using an app, make sure you have the right paperwork. If you're not using an app, you definitely want to have the right paperwork in place, which we're getting ready to talk about. But if you are using an app, have some paperwork in place anyway, just in case something goes wrong. You don't want the app to crash on you, or the shop not like the app, or the techs not understand the app, and then you're stuck, running around trying to get some matrices made up or some invoices made up. So even if you're using an app, make sure you have paperwork in place as a backup plan. If you decide not to use an app, make sure you have the right paperwork in place. Some of the paperwork you need, and you can watch this again later and write it down if you want to, I'll have it on YouTube. You're going to need individual invoices for each car, a lot of them. I would suggest having 30 to 40 in place per account, and then if it hits, you can always make a run to Staples or the copy center or whoever you use and make a couple hundred more that could be ready in a few days, but that'll get you started right away. Get some matrices in place. Get the prices that you're going to have on your matrix. Get them printed up. Same thing. Have 30, 40 per account in place, ready to go. And you can make copies. You can make copies of all these later. Weekly paper statements. If you're using QuickBooks or you've got an accountant, then you don't need this. But a lot of times, I've seen the small time PDR guys just have some weekly statements printed up, 2 or 3 part, and you can take those invoices and copy them onto the statements and hand them in weekly. Shirts, extra shirts. A lot of guys won't do this. They won't go out and have 100 shirts made up, and I can't blame you because they're pricey. But have expectations on what you want those guys to wear. I ask guys to wear either a Hail Company shirt or a black t-shirt, so everybody looks uniform and just looks professional in the shop, and it lends a hand to the accounts that you're working in, so it just looks professional, and you're not a bunch of guys running around in AC/DC shirts with the sleeves cut off. Everything adds to your image. Copies of blank W-9s to give to the guys to fill out, and I would always recommend, before you hand a check to anybody, even if it's your friend, get a W-9 filled out so you have their information. So in January, you're not out there calling everybody, emailing, hey, what's your W-9, or what's your social, or what's your tax ID number, and they're on vacation or in Australia working and you can't get it to them in time. Some other things, sizing magnets for dents. You've seen those magnets out there with dime, nickel, quarter, $half. It wouldn't hurt to get a handful of those, even if you only have a couple for each shop. It helps the technicians to deal with adjusters when they come out there when they're writing estimates. That's kind of a optional thing, but I like to have that around. It helps. Independent contractor agreements. I told you before, I have some copies of these. I can send this to anybody that wants to, fill it in for their own. But have everybody sign a contractor agreement. I've seen so many things happen. Even friends steal accounts from each other, and I hate to say it, but it's a fact. Get something on paper and protect yourself so somebody can't go in there and take your account. You never know You know, my dad told me one time, you never know your wife till you meet her in court. Or you think you know your wife, wait till you meet her in court. Same thing applies to friends. When you're dealing with a lot of money like this, man, cover yourself. Contracts with shops, we discussed this before. As long as the contracts that you have for the shop is not really one-sided and brutal, stating everything that they're going to do for you, you know, say this is what I'm going to do for you, these are our expectations. Get a contract with the shop also. Have a bunch of extra business checks on hand. If you've got a small checkbook with 32 checks in it, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and order a couple hundred. The account number is never going to change. The checks will always be good, whether you use them now or in 5 years. So get some extra checks on hand so you're not telling a guy, hey man, I got paid, but I got to order some checks. I'm out of checks. I've seen it happen, and I'm sure a lot of you have also. So this is that's another thing to add to the checklist. And then have a box for each shop. All the items we mentioned earlier, like I said, you'll be able to watch this later and write down these things, but have a box for each shop. If you got 3 accounts or 10 accounts, take the time to make a box for each shop with the correct paperwork. Even if it collects dust for 4 years and does nothing in the corner of your garage, the day it hails, you're going to thank yourself 100 times over for having that in place, because you're going to walk into those shops, you're going to hand the tech the box and say, this is going to get you by while I go and get everybody else set up, and that account is up and running within 24 hours. I do have an example. You've all seen these boxes here. They come at Walmart. They're cheap little boxes. Put some files in there. Slap the invoices, matrices, get them all in there, and you're ready to go. So again, this is all proactive stuff. You want to know how to maximize your presence in a storm. It's not about just sales. It's about being prepared way ahead of the storm. Another thing that you can do, which I'm a really big fan of, is if you have somebody make your business cards, if you get enough of them, you can go in there and say, hey, you know what, I got 20 guys that I might use in the future. I want to get 10 business cards made for each one of them. It's 200 cards. They've already got the setup. All they got to do is change the cell phone number and their name. So Shane Jacks comes to work for you, and you've already talked to him. He comes to your town. Your name is PDR guy. You walk up to him in that box and you hand him a half a dozen or a dozen business cards that has your company information on it, and it's got his name, his cell phone number, and you don't really need an email. I mean, they're going to be calling him. Basically, he takes off early one day because, you know, a supplement wasn't approved. They're going to call him directly. I just think it's kind of cheesy for a guy to hand a body shop his own business card. It looks so much more professional, again, if they hand him your business card with his name on it. And it's just something I've always done. I think I got about 100 guys out there that got cards right now. And it's a cheap investment, but it pays off in the end. And again, all of these things put together, if you do them, is going to make you a lot of money, and it's going to help you a lot. All right, that's for the paperwork. Talk to your accounts right now. Tell them you have a plan. You can be up and running in their shop within 24 to 48 hours. We all know that a lot of these big insurance companies have agreements with national PDR vendors. You can complain about it all you want, but it's a fact. What you can do if you have a solid relationship with these body shops and you've explained to them that you have a system in place, ask them to reach out to their contact. Every body shop has a contact within each insurance company that is their head guy. Call him up and say, hey, Jimmy's insurance company, you know, we're DRP for you. We do all this work. When it hails, you're going to send XYZ PDR company out here. Go in there and ask them if you can. Sorry, Woody pissed me off with that little thing right there. Woody, I'm going to block you after this one. Say, hey, I've got a company in place that I use and I trust. So how can I go about using these guys when it hails? And that might help. It might not, but I've tried it before. It can help. So that's something else you can do. You're just staking your claim to that shop as much as you can. Sell your services to those shops. Don't just tell them you have a PDR plan in place for hail. Let them know you're going to be there after the storm to take care of issues, and you have a professional network of hail techs in place. So make sure they know so make sure they know that if it hails, you're there. Don't let these other companies come in there and say, oh, your local guy can't handle that. You know, we're going to have 400 cars coming in here. He's a one-man band. They need to know ahead of time that you are a regional hail provider for them and other shops. Then another thing you can do is you can talk to accounts that you don't service, dealerships and body shops. 25, 50-mile radius or whatever you're comfortable with. They probably have a dent guy already, but you can sell yourself as a regional hail operation, ready to help if he can't handle it. So you might go to a dealership 30 miles away. When it's not hailing there, you'd be surprised the time of day that these managers and body shops will give you to talk about preparing for a hailstorm. So if you go in there the day after a storm, they're not going to want to talk to you. You talk to them 6 months before it hails, you'll get a meeting with them, and you'll be on their radar. Worst case scenario, all you get is an honest meeting when it does hail because they remember you. But you can sell yourself, and you can expand that way also. The technicians we talked about earlier, don't hire anyone you don't know, and more importantly, do not hire anybody that you've met on Facebook alone, unless you have references from somebody else. Too many guys take Facebook and think the person that they've been talking to or seeing posts for the last 2 years is just this incredible dent guy, and then they get it in front. You know, your buddy's online, so you're not going to call him out, but don't do it, man. I don't care if you guys are 2 admins in the same group, whatever it is, unless you know their work quality, do not hire them to a hailstorm. It will cost you a lot of money. And if you're a 1 to 5 year tech and you want to know how you become a tech that's in demand for people to add to their roster, if you don't have the kind of experience and references, you know, stay tuned for that. There's a couple guys out there that are pretty well respected in this industry that are coming up with a service to help, you know, not necessarily newbies, but anybody that wants to make themselves a better tech hail-wise and how to become the guy that everybody calls. So that's coming. That's not for me. That's from somebody else. So once a hailstorm does start, make sure you take care of the technicians. Be flexible in the percentage. If they're running a shop for you, writing estimates and doing all that crap, don't just say, hey, man, I'm paying you 70%. Understand that every percentage point has a job attached to it, and if you're going to go sit in your room at the house and party and make 30% off of them, they're probably, you know, they're not going to be your friend afterwards. I mean, 30% sucks if you're not doing anything for it. So pay them for what they've done. Talk to them ahead of time. Make sure you have a financial system in place. It'll also help them decide to put you at the top of their list when you call. So when they get 3 calls from 3 different people needing a tech, and then you call and they know they're going to make more money with you, you're going to have a better chance of getting the better techs as well. Somebody asked about retail operations. That's really not my expertise. My expertise is dealing with body shops and dealerships and helping a local tech maintain his route accounts. Retail operations, I've never done it. It's a different animal with advertising and scheduling. I would suggest reaching out to a guy named Tony Frazier. He is probably the most knowledgeable, educated person I know when it comes to making money in a retail location. But again, stay tuned. The same guys that I mentioned earlier are going to be coming up with a plan to help guys with retail operations as well. So once you get the storm up and running, you've got your techs in place, you've got everybody lined up with the paperwork they need, and all the shops, you know, you're running about a week into it, you're going to find yourself 2 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, your phone's not ringing, and you're going to think something's wrong, and it's not. That's the way it's supposed to be. Each shop is going to be independently operated by the techs you brought in. The shops are communicating with those technicians, and you're only there for emergencies or some off-the-wall questions that always happen, but you're not stuck at one shop neglecting the others. Be prepared to expand in about a week or 2. If there's other techs in your area that haven't done the same homework you have, they're going to be doing what I just talked about. They're going to be running around, chasing their tail. Techs are going to be leaving because they're not being taken care of. And you're going to go in there to these accounts and say, hey, just checking to see how things are going. There's a high likelihood you'll get in some other accounts. So I'm not talking cutthroat activities. I'm just saying increase your business where it is available. And this also helps you long term, not just for the hail, but you can acquire accounts that you can service long term as well. So hail it's a golden ticket for you, man. You're going to make money during a storm if you prepare accordingly, and you're also going to increase your database of accounts, or your account base rather, during the hailstorm. So, and if you want to hear more about how my company operates, you can email me or call me. Email is ryan@thehailcompany.com. And my cell phone number is 636-734-5470. And do not think that I will be offended if you don't call me. There's no way I could handle as many guys out there that I know anyway. I'll always have my fair share of work, but if I'm not helping you, I do want to make sure all of you guys succeed. There's plenty of room for success. It's the cutthroat stupidity out there that we need to replace, and that's what that's what we're trying to do here, to help everybody else succeed in a proper way. So I ignored a lot of questions there because I wanted to get through the bulk of the information. And if you guys got some questions now, I would be happy to answer them while I give a little plug here. Oh, that's good. So, anybody got any questions or want me to go into detail on anything else? That was shameless, wasn't it? If we can keep Woody out of there, we can probably get some real questions coming in. Woody, keep asking yourself why you didn't get called to go to Maine. That's actually a glass of water. All right. No problem, Kent. How do I get a mug? I guess I could send you one, buddy. Well, I appreciate all the kind words there. Maybe that means nobody has any questions. And if you want, I've got all this written down. I can email this information to you in an email also. I got it up in Word. So just, again, email me, ryan@thehailcompany.com, and I will forward this information to you. Thank you. Thanks, Derek. Somebody's got to have a question. I talked way too fast. I had so much more information to put out there, but I thought, man, this is going to take a long time to go through. Maybe I should have done more. Insurance. I don't know if I talked about insurance. I think I had it, but I didn't write it down. In that box you have, keep copies of your general liability and garage keeper's insurance in each one also. Make a handful of copies of that. And make sure you find out if your state requires workers' comp. If your state requires workers' comp, then you need to have workers' comp, which means people underneath you have to have workers' comp, or you need to pay a penalty. That's a whole nother video on why and how, but I promise you it's true. So make sure all your insurance is in order, and you can avoid it. Hope the shops don't catch it, but the last thing you want is a body shop coming to you in March saying, hey man, I need a copy of your workers' comp from last year. We did $300,000 worth of work, and they're going to hit us at 3.5%. And you say, oh, I didn't know I needed to have it. Well, that's going to piss them off, and you're probably not going to go back in there. And then if you do have it, make sure everybody underneath you has it also. Yeah, Rob brought up a good point. Pay schedules with the techs. One of the things that techs don't like to do when they go into accounts is they don't like to talk about money. Don't ever go into an account being afraid to ask for money. That's the whole reason you are there. I don't care how much you love your job. You're there to make money, and so are the technicians. So when you shake hands with that body shop or dealership, sit down and say, okay, here's how we do it. And whatever you feel comfortable with. Me personally, I want to get paid once a week. I don't care if it's $2,000 or $200,000. I want to get paid once a week. I will give them a statement once a week, and I will collect a check once a week. And the technicians should also be paid once a week as well. And you can address that in the independent contractor agreements with the techs, and you can also address that in the body shop contracts with the body shops and or dealerships. And I missed a couple questions there, fellas. Dent Dominator was one of them, and I think Miller was the other. If we bring in a company to work on my dealership, she would be included in the negotiations part. Absolutely 100%. If a company does not want you included in the negotiations, there's one of two things going on. They're either going to, well, it could just be them trying to do their game, not wanting you to see it, but if you call a company to represent you, then there is absolutely no reason why you should not be included in anything or any part that you want to be included in, including negotiations. If you called me into your storm, I would ask you, do you want me to help you sell this account? Do you want me to just help you manage this account? If you called me in, not only would I ask you to be, I would ask you, I want you in there because you're the key to the whole thing. You brought me in there. Your relationship with these people is going to help me get more money for the cars, and you're going to understand that there's nothing being hidden. You're going to know the money on the cars. Yeah, by all means, you should be involved in any aspect that you want to be in. Comebacks after techs are long gone. If you got a tech in there working for a couple months and they're gone, and 6 weeks later they came back with an issue with the headliner and the headliner's ripped and you got to put a $1,200 headliner in it, pay for it, dude. I know you don't want to hear that, but you're making 25, 20, 15, 10, 30%, depending on the level. Pay for it. That's part of the reason why you're making money. The percentages that PDR companies make off hail is not just because there's a job. When I say there's a job assigned to every task, every decimal point of those percentages, I'm not kidding. If he intentionally screwed something up, just don't hire him again. But if it's something that was missed, a wire that was crossed, pay for it. That's your job. You're covering him. When a company calls me in to do something and to run a storm for them and they have comebacks, they call me, I pay for it. I don't go back to the technicians. It's just part of my game. There's risk and responsibility in the percentages that you make off of a PDR company and a PDR tech when you're in a hailstorm, and that's what your job is. You're insurance, man. You are the insurance for the body shops. You're the insurance for the techs. Anybody else? Dominator, I know you had one. Let's say something about having financing in place to make sure guys are paid even if you aren't. Well, that's true. You can go get a small business loan, a secured loan. I've never done that before. But again, if you tackle head on, a big shop, you got 4 or 5 guys in there and you're cranking out some income, as long as that shop knows, again, it all goes back to preparation. We covered all this, that they need to pay once a week. Granted, the first week or two might be slow, but after that, it's week to week. Tell the techs the same thing. If you're not financially able to cover that income the first couple weeks, then, let them know ahead of time too. Everything needs to be discussed ahead of time. If you're waiting for a check, give them a check. And after 3 or 4 weeks, when your profits start coming in, then you should dig into that and pay your techs on time. And your money will come at the end. This isn't just a lottery. You have to earn your money as a PDR company and a broker or a management company. It's not as easy as everybody thinks. There's a lot of risk, man. There's a ton of money on the line. You can have 20 guys working and one shop screws you in one check. You could have almost lost your entire profit from that storm. How do you set yourself apart from every other gypsy in town? You aren't, that's Ben. He's a good friend of mine. This show is more about local guys. So if you're a local guy, you are not a gypsy. And there's a difference in a gypsy tech, the guys that bounce around that nobody's ever heard of, sitting in a tent, you drive by, you hear a drill going 60 miles an hour, you see cars coming out, when they drive down the road, they sound like a wiffle ball now with all the holes in them. There's a difference between that and a legitimate company that has just set up a temporary retail operation if they've got their paperwork right. But the number one thing you can do to separate yourself from a gypsy dent company is they're going to know you before it even hails. They're going to know who you are. They're going to know you're professional. You got a plan in place. And, it shouldn't even be a question if you do your homework properly. And Ben, I think I know what you're asking there as far as if you're chasing what you can do to generate. I'll give you a call. You and I can talk some more. I know you're new to this, and I think I can help you a lot too. Do you know of insurance in case of a no-pay body shop? Oh man, I had an insurance policy a while back, and it had something in there about a no-pay insurance for not getting paid. But honestly, I don't know that question. I know your contracts, if they're in place correctly, that helps a lot. But if you are ever worried about that, well, even if you're not, I would suggest the same thing I've said before. Every single car that you do, the whole last 8 numbers of the VIN number on the invoice, take an extra 1 minute on every single car you do and either take a picture of the insurance estimate or copy down the information, the customer's name, the VIN number, the claim number, the insurance company, and the contact and his phone number at the insurance company. It might take you an extra minute, and it might have a whole nother log sheet, but if you're dealing with a body shop or somebody that does not pay you for whatever reason, you've got some serious recourse there now to reach out to people beyond him to collect that money. So again, the more you can do ahead of time to protect yourself, you're better off. Same with prepping for getting to work, being prepared to, for when hail hits. It all goes back to being prepared. And I know a lot of you guys are listening to this going, oh, that's a good idea. And you're going to turn around, you're going to go downstairs and watch Game of Thrones thinking it's not going to hail. It hailed in Maine this year. It hailed in Boston this year. It hailed in Tahoe. It hailed in, what's that town down in Arizona? I mean, it hails in towns you would never think it hailed in. I mean, so I don't care where you are. Hell, there was hail in Alaska this year. Didn't do any damage. It hailed in Hawaii. I don't care where you are. If you are a local PDR company, it's not going to hurt you to spend $500, $1,000, and get ready. So, and if you don't want to spend it, you don't have to. But I guarantee it's going to make you a lot more money if you do. It's insurance for your business. I hope it's not too echoey in here. I can hear myself. Anything else? Time for another commercial. All right, clock's ticking. I think I pissed Woody off. He went back to his room and cried. And if you notice, I didn't respond to any of the messages from people that are just random pop-ups in here because it's going to look awkward on a YouTube video later on. So, and I won't be doing that in the future either. So I'm hoping these videos can help people out long term and not just tonight. What do you think about landing dealers from other local route guys that you know is not organized? I think that's a great idea. It goes back to what I said about expanding to a 25 to 50 mile radius. Help them or blow them out. That's up to you. If you know them, help them. I would never suggest screwing a guy over. I mean, you wouldn't want them doing it to you. There's plenty to go around, like I said. If you are prepared with all of your accounts, and you also take the time, like I said earlier, to hit another radius outside of your realm, 25 to 50 miles, and sell yourself as a regional hail operation. I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about that before, but if I ever set up in St. Louis again, I most definitely would. I would have my accounts, and every single dealership in St. Louis would see me or hear my name every 2 or 3 months with a nice pamphlet saying, I know you got a dent guy, but if it hails, I'm servicing this dealership that you know, these body shops that you know. I know you don't need me right now, but if it hails, I'm going to come see you and just do that. Yeah, so if you know the local guy that is servicing that account, reach out to him and form a network with him. We discussed that again also. There's nothing wrong with 4 or 5 local companies forming an alliance. Small storm, you guys all work together. Big storm, work better. Work together. You guys have the opportunity to own your business. I don't care how big these companies are. If you think that these guys are going to walk all over you, then they're going to. There's a reason these PDR companies, and a lot of them are my friends, and I mean no harm to them at all. They're going to get their piece, but so can you. We're not trying to eliminate the guys that are legitimate. We're trying to bring up to the top the guys that deserve it, and that's going to be up to you. And the best thing I can do is show you how you can do that. And I have time still. It's only been a half hour, so if you guys got anything else, you know, let's hear it. Feels good to be home too. I could have adjusted that little shade back there, look more professional. Maybe put my PDR Nation plaque on the wall. But everything's tore down. I'm painting this week. Anything else? Keep those hearts coming. I want to get up there. Shane's blowing me away by like 20,000. Man, that dude's good. I even gave him a handful today. He deserved them. Anything else? Gerald, did I answer your question? Okay. All right, man. If you guys got any other ideas on what you want me to do, hit me up. You'll see me on Facebook or email me, Ryan@hailcompany.com, or call me. Most of you got my phone number. Any ideas on what you want to hear or information, just let me know, and I'd be happy to do it. I enjoy these, and if I help one person out tonight, then it made it all worthwhile, okay? Would I be able to find out the contract for company I brought to help me was? I'm not sure what you mean there. Are you asking me if you can go to the accounts that you brought somebody in to help you and see what the contract was for? I believe you should be able to if you have a relationship with them. If there's an issue of trust, I would reach out to the company first, and then after that, I would reach out to the dealership. And if it's wrong, if something doesn't add up, it's too late now. You could have done your homework a little bit better. I love you, Jaime, and I'm not trying to, make you look bad, but I'd be more than happy to help you next time. And there's some other good companies that would too. But waiting until the last minute, and I believe you did wait till the last minute, and I know what your situation is. I'm just not going to broadcast it on here. I feel for you, but you were given some information about a company that was going to help you, and you were not satisfied, or you're not sure if the numbers are right. Whether they are or not, I don't know. I'm only speaking to your concerns. Being more prepared ahead of time would have completely eliminated your situation. So you can probably vouch for this little video cast here, helping somebody out 100% if they take it to heart. All right, fellas. I'm not seeing any questions, so I really hope it helped you, and I will see you on the next one. Hope you guys are pushing dents, and talk to you soon. Thanks for joining me.